She wasn't even on my land 5 minutes before she started trouble. I was checking the fence line when Karen, our self-appointed HOA president, even though my ranch isn't in her HOA, stomped up with a clipboard and announced, "This driveway is now closed for safety reasons." She slapped a laminated notice onto my fence post and walked off like she owned the place. I read the notice twice because I couldn't believe it. It said the ranch road I built and paid for would now be closed to all non-HOA residents. That was rich. Her little HOA is half a mile away and they'd been using my driveway as their shortcut for years. I told her she had no authority here. She leaned in as if she were reading the law itself. "From today, no one enters without HOA approval," she declared. She glanced back at her SUV where two men in neon vests were unloading orange cones. They were not county workers. I told her she was trespassing. She smirked. "Call the cops." "I already have." 5 minutes later, a black sedan screeched up. Two men stepped out with badges on lanyards, but something was wrong. Their uniforms were off and the vehicle was unmarked. One of them muttered about enforcing HOA restrictions. I felt my blood pressure rise. I kept my voice steady and smiled. What Karen didn't know was that this ranch has been in my family for 3 generations, and my younger brother happens to be the county sheriff. Karen stood there with her arms crossed, waiting for me to back down, but I didn't move. The two supposed officers paced around my gate like they owned the place, and one even rattled the chain lock as if to test it. I asked to see proper identification, not the cheap plastic cards on their necks. The taller man sneered, "We don't have to show you anything. This is HOA business." I almost laughed at the absurdity. HOA business on land that's been in my family long before their subdivision existed. I stepped closer and lowered my voice. "You have about 30 seconds to leave my property, before you find out how real law enforcement works around here." Karen scoffed loud enough for the whole road to hear. "You're bluffing. Everyone knows you're just a stubborn rancher." "We have permission to be here." Perfect. She had just walked into her own trap. My phone was already recording and I had texted my brother before they even got out of the car. Not 2 minutes later, I saw dust on the horizon, his patrol truck coming in fast. Karen's fake cops didn't notice until the siren chirped once. My brother stepped out in uniform, one hand on his belt, the other holding a folder. He looked at Karen first. "Ma'am, do you have permission to close a county-registered driveway?" She stammered something about community safety, but he cut her off. "This road is private property and the man you are harassing is my brother," he said. Color drained from her face, but she tried to recover with a weak, "We'll just take the long way then." "That's exactly what you're going to do," my brother replied. "After I get your friends' real names." The two men shifted uncomfortably. Their little act was over, but they still did not know what I had planned next. The next morning I was up before sunrise, drinking coffee on the porch while mist rolled across the pasture. My mind was not on the weather. It was on payback. For years, Karen and her HOA cronies had been cutting across my driveway to shave minutes off their commute. They'd left deep tire grooves in the gravel and never once offered to help with maintenance. Yesterday had been the last straw. I grabbed my toolbox from the barn and walked to the gate. In the back of my truck were legal deterrents I had bought at a ranch supply auction. They were meant to protect property, not to cause unnecessary harm. By sunrise, I had them set in place in a way that would stop reckless, unauthorized use but allow respectful, cautious passage. Around 8:15, I heard Karen's SUV coming, engine whining. She flew down the road like she always did, phone in one hand, sunglasses on. I pretended to be fixing a post and leaned on the fence. She didn't slow down when she passed me. Within moments, her vehicle lurched and skidded to a stop halfway up the drive. She jumped out screaming, "You vandal, you'll pay for this." I pointed to the private road and the no trespassing sign above the gate. "You should have read the sign, Karen," I said. A pickup pulled in behind her. My brother had come back, responding to another emergency call. This time he wasn't there to intimidate. He had a warrant. Karen froze when she saw him step out with papers in hand. She tried to play the victim. "Officer, this man sabotaged my vehicle." "He is dangerous," she cried, pointing at me. My brother did not look at me. He kept his eyes on her and unfolded the papers so the words were clear. Trespassing and impersonating a peace officer. Karen blinked and protested that she was enforcing community rules. My brother's voice was steady and sharp. "The only community you're part of is the one that's been breaking the law. The men you brought yesterday are not officers. They have been identified and are in custody." Her hands went up like surrender, but her mouth kept moving, insisting this was harassment. "We can impound the vehicle," he told her. "It's blocking private property and it's part of an investigation." I felt a small grin creep across my face as a tow truck arrived. Karen's jaw dropped when they hooked her SUV. "You can't take my car," she protested. My brother glanced at me and said, "Actually, ma'am, we can. And when you show up in court, bring proof you have any right to be on this land." Spoiler, she did not. She probably expected her HOA friends to bail her out. No one came. All that remained was the clank of chains as the tow truck pulled her SUV down the road. I still had not told her the real surprise I was saving for the end of this story. By the next week, the whole subdivision knew. Karen had lost her SUV, faced charges, and had a court date stamped in red on her mailbox. What no one yet knew was what I had quietly been doing behind the scenes to stop their shortcut for good. The HOA had been trespassing for years. I had kept quiet because I did not want a war. That changed the moment she brought fake cops onto my land. I dug out months of trail cam footage showing board members speeding down my drive, dumping trash and clipping my fence to make turns easier. I compiled dates, times, and license plates and took the files to the county attorney. The value of the damage and illegal use over the years was not just a slap on the wrist. It rose to a level that required serious restitution. Even worse for them, the shortcut they claimed to need was not on their maps. Legally, it did not exist for them. On Friday morning, I sat by my gate in a lawn chair. Karen arrived with 2 board members in a shiny black SUV, probably expecting to negotiate. The moment they stepped out, 3 county trucks and my brother's cruiser rolled up behind them. The county attorney stepped from one truck, handed Karen an envelope, and read aloud, "You and your HOA are hereby prohibited from entering this property. You will also receive notice of damages owed." Karen opened it and her knees wobbled. "How much?" one board member asked. The attorney did not flinch. $28,000, payable in full. Karen's mouth opened, but no sound came out. For the first time since I met her, she looked small. As they stood there stunned, I pointed to the new gate behind me. 8 feet of solid steel with a keypad lock under my control. "This shortcut is closed forever," I said. I did not tell them the final move that would make them never think about coming near my land again. That last move had been sitting quietly in my barn,